giants, one ring, no cameras. Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung, names that still echo through martial arts history decades later. Everyone knows their legendary clash in Enter the Dragon, the movie that changed everything. But what nobody talks about? The real fight, the one that happened off screen, away from directors, away from Hollywood executives, just two warriors testing everything they believed about combat. Today, you're learning the truth about Bruce Lee's actual fight with Bolo Yeung. The encounter witnesses still whisper about. The showdown that proved which martial arts philosophy truly dominated. Let's begin. Behind closed doors. That's where this story really starts, not on glossy film sets, not in choreographed sequences, but in the creative chaos of making Enter the Dragon in 1973. Bruce Lee wasn't just starring in this film. He was pouring his soul into it, his magnum opus, his chance to show the world what real martial arts looked like. And he had plans, big plans. One of those plans, an epic confrontation between his character and Bolo's massive villain. Bruce envisioned something profound, not just punches and kicks, a philosophical battle. His Jeet Kune Do representing adaptation, fluidity, intelligence, Bolo's character embodying raw strength, traditional power, physical dominance. The fight was supposed to be legendary. Bruce spent weeks choreographing every movement, every strike carrying meaning, every exchange telling a story about different martial arts approaches. Then, Warner Brothers intervened. Studio executives made their decision, Bolo's role getting slashed, his screen time cut dramatically, and that carefully planned fight scene deleted entirely. The reasoning was strategic. The studio wanted singular focus, Bruce Lee versus the main villain, Han. That climactic mirror room sequence. Warner Brothers believed multiple major fight scenes would dilute emotional impact, divide audience attention. Better to concentrate everything on one unforgettable showdown. Business logic. But martial arts injustice. Bruce felt betrayed. Bolo felt disrespected. The tension between artistic vision and commercial demands created something unexpected, something electric, something dangerous. Before understanding what happened next, we need to rewind. Go back to where these two legends began. Because Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung came from completely different worlds. Their origins shaped everything about how they fought, how they thought, how they approached martial arts itself. Bruce Lee's journey started in San Francisco, 1940. Born into entertainment, his father performed Cantonese opera. Young Bruce grew up surrounded by performers, artists, creative minds. But San Francisco was just his birthplace. Hong Kong became his proving ground. At 13, life on Hong Kong streets demanded more than performance. It demanded survival. Street gangs controlled neighborhoods. Violence wasn't theoretical. It was Tuesday afternoon. Bruce needed real skills, real fast. That's when he found Ip Man, the Wing Chun grandmaster who would shape his foundation. But Bruce wasn't typical student. Most disciples absorbed teachings without question. Bruce questioned everything. Why this stance? Why that movement? What works? What doesn't? This relentless curiosity made him revolutionary. Also made him controversial. By 18, Bruce was back in America, $100 in his pocket. Nothing else. He enrolled at University of Washington, supported himself teaching martial arts, but not traditional teaching. Bruce welcomed Western students, mixed techniques from different styles, combined Wing Chun with boxing, fencing, wrestling, whatever worked. This horrified traditional masters. They saw betrayal. Bruce saw evolution. He was creating something new, something that would become Jeet Kune Do, the art of no art, the style of no style, pure effectiveness stripped of cultural tradition and rigid forms. Bolo Yeung's path? Completely opposite. Born 1946 in Guangzhou, China, 6 years younger than Bruce, Where Bruce questioned traditions, Bolo embraced them. He started classical Chinese martial arts training as a child, dedicated himself to mastering ancient forms, spent years perfecting techniques passed down through generations, discipline, repetition, tradition, everything Bruce would later challenge. But Bolo had another passion, one that made him unique: bodybuilding, Western practice. Unusual in China during the 1960s, Bolo discovered he could combine traditional martial arts with modern strength training. The result? Unprecedented physique. By 20, he won Mr. Hong Kong Bodybuilding Championship, then kept winning, held the title for 10 years straight. Nobody could match his combination: traditional martial arts precision with bodybuilders' raw power. He was creating his own hybrid, just like Bruce. But from the opposite direction. Bruce revolutionized martial arts in America. Bolo leveraged his unique physical presence to dominate Hong Kong cinema. By the time Warner Brothers greenlit Enter the Dragon, both men had established themselves as forces, but through entirely different philosophies. Bruce was the innovator, the philosopher, the man who broke every rule to find truth. Bolo was the traditionalist, the powerhouse, the man who perfected what already existed and added muscle to it. These contrasting approaches were about to collide. Understanding their fight requires understanding their bodies, their techniques, their fundamental approaches to combat. Because Bruce and Bolo weren't just different personalities, they were different martial arts philosophies made flesh. Bruce Lee stood 5'8", weighed approximately 141 pounds, lean, shredded, every muscle visible, but not for show, for function. Bruce's body was a precision instrument. He trained for explosion, for speed, for endurance. His famous 1-inch punch generated power from his entire body: legs, hips, core, shoulders, fist, everything coordinated in perfect sequence. His physique reflected his philosophy: no wasted muscle, no unnecessary bulk, only what served combat effectiveness. Bruce could deliver strikes faster than opponents could process. His hands moved like lightning, his kicks like whips cracking air. Witnesses described watching him spar. They couldn't track his movements, just saw result. Opponent staggering. Bruce already back in neutral position, ready for next exchange. But speed was only part of Bruce's arsenal. His mind was equally dangerous. He studied opponents like chess grandmaster, studying board, reading patterns, anticipating moves, exploiting weaknesses before they became obvious. Bruce believed in being like water, adapting to any situation, flowing around obstacles, taking the path of least resistance while maintaining devastating effectiveness. This wasn't just philosophical poetry. This was tactical genius. During fights, Bruce constantly adjusted, changed timing, altered angles, switched between aggressive and defensive, never predictable, never fixed, always responding to what opponent revealed. Bolo Yeung presented completely different threat. 5'6", approximately 154 pounds. But those numbers don't tell the story. Bolo was solid muscle, bodybuilder's physique, thick chest, massive shoulders, arms like tree trunks. He looked like he could break opponents in half. And he could. Bolo's strength was legendary. He could deliver blows that sent larger men flying. His kicks had stopping power. His punches felt like getting hit by a car. Everything about Bolo screamed power, intimidation through physical presence. Before fighting even started, opponents were already psychologically defeated. Just looking at him was overwhelming. Bolo's fighting style matched his body: straightforward, overwhelming, close the distance, land heavy strikes, dominate through superior strength. Why be complicated when you can simply overpower? This approach worked brilliantly in short, explosive encounters. Bolo could end fights in seconds. One good connection, fight over. His strategy relied on physical superiority, using strength advantage to impose his will. Make opponents fight his fight, in his world, on his terms. This was the traditional approach, the ancient way. Use your natural gifts, maximize what you were born with. Where Bruce sought efficiency, Bolo sought domination. These opposing philosophies created fascinating dynamic. Bruce's speed and precision versus Bolo's power and endurance. Intelligence versus strength. Evolution versus tradition. The question everyone wondered: what happens when they actually clash? Not in choreographed movie fight, but real combat, no script, no safety, just truth. On Enter the Dragon set, they were actors, characters, playing roles in carefully constructed narrative. Bruce portrayed Lee, skilled martial artist, hero on mission, recruited by intelligence agency, infiltrating criminals' martial arts tournament, bringing justice, honor, discipline. Bruce didn't just play this character. He was this character. His real-life philosophy bleeding into every scene, every fight sequence, every moment of dialogue. Bruce brought authenticity Hollywood had never seen. He insisted on realistic combat, refused wire work, demanded his techniques look real because they were real. This wasn't acting. This was Bruce Lee showing the world his art. The film's centerpiece was his final confrontation with Han, the mirror room sequence that became cinema legend. Bruce designed this fight to showcase Jeet Kune Do principles: adaptability, directness, efficiency. The mirrors represented illusion. Multiple opponents where only one existed. Bruce's character had to see through deception, find truth, strike reality. The symbolism was profound. The execution was flawless. This sequence alone justified the film's entire existence. Bolo played different role. Bolo, Han's enforcer, muscle, intimidation personified. Every scene he appeared in crackled with menace. His physical presence dominated frame. Directors barely needed to direct him. Bolo just was threatening, naturally, effortlessly. His limited dialogue didn't matter. His body communicated everything. When he entered scene, tension increased. Danger felt real. Bolo brought authenticity to villain role that Hollywood usually lacked. He wasn't playing tough guy. He was legitimate martial artist, real bodybuilding champion, actual fighter. Audiences sensed this, felt it, responded to it. The cut fight scene between them would have been epic. Clash of philosophies made visual. Bruce's character representing enlightenment, Bolo's character representing brute force, hero versus villain, but also intelligence versus strength, future versus past, evolution versus tradition. Warner Brothers' decision to cut it seemed purely business, but it created something more interesting: real-life tension, professional rivalry, competitive energy building beneath surface. Other cast members noticed: Jim Kelly, Bob Wall, Jackie Chan. Everyone on set felt electricity between Bruce and Bolo. Jim Kelly, international middleweight karate champion, watched their interactions during breaks. He recognized the unspoken language between elite martial artists, the way they moved around each other, the demonstrations that seemed casual but weren't. Each man subtly showcasing skills, making statements without words. Kelly had been in enough competitive situations to know this was more than professional respect. This was competition. Bob Wall worked closely with both men on fight choreography. He saw how Bruce approached scenes, meticulous, precise, scientific, then watched how Bolo trained: raw power, traditional forms, completely different methodologies. Wall understood they represented fundamental divide in martial arts philosophy. Which way works better, speed or strength, technique or power? The question had existed forever. Now it was embodied in two men working inches apart daily. During filming breaks, martial artists would gather, exchange techniques, show off new moves. Sam Hung and Jackie Chan, working as stuntmen before their own stardom, watched everything. They saw Bruce demonstrate his legendary speed, his one-inch punch, his kicks that seemed to appear from nowhere. The younger fighters were mesmerized, but they also watched Bolo, saw him showcase strength feats that seemed superhuman, lifting, striking, power demonstrations that left everyone speechless. Two different types of impressive, two different paths to mastery. The competitive energy intensified as filming progressed. Then, Warner Brothers made their decision final. Bolo's role officially reduced. His big fight scene definitely cut. The news changed atmosphere on set. Bolo felt disrespected. Bruce felt guilty. Not his decision, but his film, his project. The tension that had been professional became personal. Something was building. Everyone sensed it. The question wasn't if something would happen, but when. Final week of production. Bolo made his move. Bold move, dangerous move. He challenged Bruce Lee to real sparring match, not choreographed, not rehearsed, real combat, testing everything for real. Some thought Bolo was crazy. Challenging Bruce Lee, the legend, the innovator, the man who had revolutionized martial arts? But Bolo had his reasons. His scene got cut, his role diminished, his presence in film reduced to mere muscle. He needed to prove something, to Bruce, to himself, to everyone watching. He needed to know. Could his strength overcome Bruce's speed? Could traditional power defeat modern innovation? Could he actually beat Bruce Lee? Bruce never backed down from challenges. Ever. His pride wouldn't allow it. But more than pride, his curiosity demanded it. Bruce wanted to test his philosophy, wanted to see if Jeet Kune Do really worked against pure strength, against traditional power, against someone like Bolo who represented everything Bruce had evolved beyond. So, Bruce accepted, without hesitation, without conditions, just, yes, let's fight. Let's find out truth. Let's settle this question everyone's been wondering. No rules, no time limit, no judges, just two martial artists. One ring, pure combat. The fight began. Bruce immediately established his strategy: movement, speed, control distance. He darted in, landed quick strikes, darted out. Bolo couldn't touch him. Bruce was water, flowing, adapting, finding openings, exploiting them, disappearing before Bolo could respond. His strikes were surgical, targeting vulnerable points: ribs, solar plexus, jaw, legs. Not looking for knockout, looking to accumulate damage, wear Bolo down, death by 1,000 cuts. This was Jeet Kune Do in practice: efficiency, effectiveness, intelligence over strength. Bolo tried closing distance. His strategy required it. Get close, land heavy shot, use strength advantage. But Bruce's footwork was too good. Every time Bolo advanced, Bruce circled out. Lateral movement, angles, making Bolo chase, wasting his energy. Bolo threw powerful strikes, each one potentially fight-ending, but they hit air. Bruce was always somewhere else, already moving, already gone. Frustration built in Bolo's eyes. His face showed it. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. His power meant nothing if he couldn't land it. 3 minutes passed. Bolo was breathing hard. Bruce looked fresh. 5 minutes. Bolo's movements slowed. Bruce maintained pace. 7 minutes. Bolo's strikes became predictable, telegraphed. Bruce's counters came faster, more accurate. The conditioning difference became obvious. Bruce's lean physique wasn't just aesthetic, it was functional. Every pound of muscle serving purpose. Bolo's massive frame required tremendous energy. Carrying that much muscle, moving that much mass, it was exhausting, beautiful for photographs, powerful for short bursts. But in extended combat? Liability. 10 minutes into fight, Bolo was done. Not defeated by knockout, not submitted by technique, defeated by endurance. His body simply couldn't continue, his muscles burning, his lungs screaming, his energy completely depleted. He tried to keep fighting. Heart wanted to, spirit wanted to, but body refused. Bruce circled him, still light on his feet, still sharp, still capable of continuing indefinitely. The contrast was striking, devastating, undeniable. Bolo had to concede. No shame in it. No dishonor. He lasted 10 minutes against Bruce Lee in real combat. That alone was remarkable. Most wouldn't last 2 minutes, but the lesson was clear, brutally clear. Raw power wasn't enough. Strength without endurance meant nothing. Traditional martial arts training hadn't prepared him for Bruce's evolved approach. Bolo learned something that day, something humbling but valuable. His path had limitations, his philosophy had gaps. He was incredibly strong, incredibly skilled, but not invincible. Bruce Lee had proven his point. Jeet Kune Do worked. Evolution defeated tradition. Intelligence overcame strength. Speed outlasted power. After the fight, both men gained respect for each other. Bolo appreciated what Bruce had built. The philosophy, the training, the completeness of approach. Bruce respected Bolo's heart, his courage, his willingness to test himself despite knowing he might lose. This wasn't movie scene. This was real. Bolo risked real defeat, real embarrassment, real failure, but he did it anyway. That took warrior spirit, true martial artist mentality. The encounter revealed truths both fighters needed to understand. For Bolo, it exposed his conditioning weakness. His muscular frame, while impressive and powerful for short encounters, became liability in extended combat. He learned that strength alone wasn't ultimate answer. That raw power needed to be paired with endurance, with efficiency, with strategy. The fight changed how Bolo trained afterward. He started incorporating more cardio, more endurance work, not abandoning his strength, but balancing it, making himself more complete fighter. For Bruce, the fight validated everything he believed. His years of questioning tradition, his controversial methods, his hybrid approach combining multiple arts, all of it confirmed. Jeet Kune Do wasn't just theory, it was battlefield-tested reality. His emphasis on functional fitness proved crucial. His focus on speed and efficiency decided outcome. His strategic mind controlled entire fight from beginning to end. Bruce didn't win because he was naturally superior. He won because his approach was scientifically sound. His training was intelligently designed. His philosophy was combat-proven. The fight also revealed something deeper about martial arts itself. This ancient debate, strength versus speed, power versus technique, tradition versus innovation. The answer wasn't absolute. Context mattered. In short, explosive encounter, Bolo's approach would dominate. One good connection, fight over. His strength was devastating when it landed, but in extended combat, different story. Bruce's efficiency allowed him to maintain pace. His conditioning let him outlast. His strategy gave him control. Neither approach was wrong. Both had merit. But Bruce's was more complete, more adaptable, more effective across different scenarios. Witnesses to this fight carried the story for decades. They saw something rare. Two legitimate martial arts masters testing philosophies for real. No pretense, no performance, just truth. Some who were there still talk about it in hushed tones. The day Bruce Lee fought Bolo Yeung for real. The day theory became practice. The day questions got answered. This fight never made it to film, never got documented officially, but its impact rippled through martial arts community. Stories spread, details got shared in dojos worldwide. Young fighters learned lessons from it. Train your cardio. Don't rely solely on strength. Speed matters. Efficiency wins. Strategy beats power. These principles seem obvious now, but in 1973, seeing them proven so definitively was revolutionary. Bruce Lee died just months after Enter the Dragon released. His legacy cemented, his philosophy validated, his impact undeniable. But for those who witnessed this fight, they knew something more. They had seen Bruce's truth demonstrated in purest form, not on screen, not for cameras, but in real combat, against real opponent, with real stakes. And he had proven everything he claimed, showed that his way worked. That evolution of martial arts wasn't betrayal of tradition, it was perfection of it. Taking best elements, discarding what didn't serve combat effectiveness, creating something new, something better, something that could defeat even the strongest traditional approach. So, what's the lesson? What does this fight teach us 50 years later? That strength alone isn't enough. That tradition must evolve. That questioning established wisdom isn't disrespect, it's growth. That real combat reveals truth faster than any theory. That conditioning matters as much as technique. That strategy defeats raw power. That Bruce Lee wasn't just talking philosophy, he was living it, testing it, proving it, not in movies, not in demonstrations, but in the hardest test, against formidable opponent, in real fight, where truth cannot hide, where effectiveness is only measure, where Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do proved itself definitively, forever answering the question, does it really work? Yes, absolutely yes.